It's only been a week, and of course, you know I have a big old can of worms, a big old can of news for you. In fact, Spotify for Authors just rolled out. Can you get access to Spotify for Authors, and what all does that entail? Also, Amazon Music just recently rolled out accepting Audible books. Yeah, they're starting to put audiobooks on their platform. What's going on with these two platforms? I think we got a little bit of a war, a little bit of a competition that we need to pay attention to. Also, the final verdict has come in on the Internet Archive's lawsuit, and it does not look good for them. Yeah, it's not good at all. And if you've been stuck and don't know how to get more book reviews, Get Covers has a great piece for you to check out. Actually, it's really good, and I had learned something new myself from this piece. All that in the self-publishing news for December the 9th, 2024. Before we do jump into things, though, I, of course, want to give a big shout out to my channel sponsors, the fine folks over at Book Award Pro. I have over a dozen publications that I use on their platform for targeting my books for various awards, reviews, and whatnot. In fact, right now, my current book, How to Write a Nonfiction Book in 24 Hours, is enrolled in the Essentials plan. That's the middle tier plan because I don't really need more reviews. I just need some more book awards. And then I go ahead and I upgrade that to their automatic entries per month, and I don't need to worry about a thing from that point on. But there are so many great aspects when it comes to the fine folks over at Book Award Pro. You can get a free account to a premium account and get so much for so little. It's just incredible. In fact, let me just go ahead and flex on you for a second here. 40 book awards, 11 publications in the last few years, all because of Book Award Pro. They are who they say they are. They are exactly as advertised. Go over, check a look at them at my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/bookawardpro. Alrighty. You know what? Let me go ahead. I'm going to grab something real quick here because I want to share this real fast. If you want to save 25% off your first month when you join Book Award Pro, now till the end of January 2025, January 31st, 2025, if you use my link, dalelinks.com/bookawarddeal, you get 25% off your first month. It's not in the show notes. It's for those people that have been paying attention. So, all right. Let's go ahead and move into the first piece of news here, and it's coming from Authors Guild. They applaud the final court decision affirming Internet Archive's book scanning as copyright infringement. Here's what they said. The legal battle over the Internet Archive's book scanning practices reached its conclusive end on December 3rd, 2024, when the deadline for petitioning the Supreme Court expired without action from the defendant. This procedural development finalizes Second Circuit's September 4th ruling in Hachette. Yes, that's it. We're just going to go with Hachette. Hachette Book Group versus Internet Archive, cementing a significant precedent in digital copyright law. This resolution marks the culmination of a closely watched case that began in 2020 with the Second Circuit's carefully reasoned decision now positioned to guide future copyright interpretations in our ever-evolving digital age. Now, if you've been staying tuned here to the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast, you're probably already familiar with the Internet Archive and what they did back in 2020. What they did was they put together what's called the Open Library, and it was based on some emergency fund or something like that. They felt like one of the greatest ways to help serve the folks that were being locked down in 2020 was to pirate books in the library and share it with people freely. Now, I might have oversimplified that. Let me just go ahead and just break it down. What they did was, if a particular library did not have an audiobook version of a print book, they didn't have an ebook version of a print book, what they would do is they would scan the book, the pages, and then upload those and distribute those as ebooks. Okay, that requires a separate license. That requires a different type of purchase, because now what you're doing is you're distributing things without the permission of the publisher, of the author. And so Internet Archive, not surprisingly, got sued. And now they're in trouble. Now, I don't know what this is going to end up spelling out. It could probably be millions of dollars. It could probably be the eventual shutdown of Internet Archive, which would suck. But you play with fire, you're going to get burned. Why did you do that? That's so stupid. And in a lot of books in the copyright page, you'll even see that it says that not allowed to photocopy or share in any capacity whatsoever. And they decided, oh, we don't have ebooks of this. Let's go ahead and scan copies and give it to people freely. Oh, yeah, it's called pirating. It reminds me of this whole freaking the chase money glitch, more recently, where people were, pretty much pulling out money, like, I don't know, writing bounce checks to themselves, and they thought it was a glitch. No, moron. That's not a glitch, right? You essentially were stealing money from the freaking bank, and last I knew, I think that was a felony. So it's not surprising that Internet Archive got their hands slapped for stealing from people. Dumb. Stupid. Whoever came up with that idea, dumb. You get the award for 2020 for stupid move. And there was a lot of dumb things going on in 2020, but I think that one definitely gets into the top 10 of dumbest things. All right, moving a little further forward here. Kindle Vella. I've already shared this before. Kindle Vella is winding down. If you're not familiar with the Kindle Vella program, I don't need to even explain at this point. It is a serial fiction platform, or serial fiction and nonfiction, if you will, that was launched back in 2021, I think it was. And unfortunately, it was just rife with issues. So many problems. I mean, they had this token system that they rolled out. They had these bonuses they were going to give authors, and then the bonuses started to dwindle down, and then they changed the pricing structure for authors, and then people got really screwed on it. And then now, of course, they more recently announced that it's going to get pulled. It's going to end at February of 2025. And they said initially, like, hey, look, if you plan on delisting your book, just hang in there. We will roll out that option on December the 4th. And December the 4th has finally made it. And I am very happy to say that I have pulled my own serial fiction series. We'll just say fiction series because that seems redundant there. I pulled my fiction series of Infestate off the Kindle Vella platform, and I moved it over to another serial fiction platform called Laterpress. Laterpress.com. You can get more details about them on over at laterpress.com. Great company, 100% royalty. In fact, actually this past week, I had the pleasure of chatting with Nate Gillick. He is the marketing and community lead of Laterpress, and he explained the entire process of Laterpress and how it works over on that platform. And I will tell you, it is as simple as he says it is. I sat down for maybe about, all of an hour last night, migrating all 18 of my episodes over to that platform. I think the only learning curve that I had there was figuring out, okay, do I want episodes within one book or do I separate them out into separate books? And then I finally just landed on, okay, I'm just going to put them as chapters in a single book and launch them that way. And then the formatting. Formatting took a little longer. I just needed to double check and make sure that italics were where they needed to be, bolding, any type of underlining, which I think it was just mainly italics that I needed to worry about. But go take a look at that interview if you want more details about laterpress.com. 100% royalty. You cannot beat that. And in fact, their lowest version of a royalty is 85%. That's if somebody refers you there, because that person gets 5% of the sale and Laterpress gets 10%. If Laterpress refers the sale, they get 10%, which leaves you with 90%. It is a great system. Go overlook at it. This is my wholehearted endorsement of the Laterpress platform. I'm already over there. If you want to get a copy of my book, get a copy of my series of Infestate. Go to dalelinks.com/infestate. That is not inside the show notes because I don't know that there's many horror fans out there. But if you are, you might want to go check it out. Alrighty, big news coming over from ElevenLabs. ElevenLabs launches a reader app, as mentioned earlier in the issue of the Hot Sheet by Jane Friedman. ElevenLabs is a leading AI text-to-voice generator that can clone voices. It recently announced an Apple and Android app that can bring realistic narration to any book, article, PDF, newsletter, or text that you import. Learn more about ElevenLabs Publishing. They are open to indie authors who want to use their tools for audiobook creation and distribution. So if digital narration is your thing, you would like to kind of dig into that, go take a look at ElevenLabs. I actually looked at them and it's really good. Good friend of mine and a former guest of the channel, Nick Thacker, actually used ElevenLabs, and he fooled me. He literally fooled me at one point. He's like, check out my new audiobook, and he plays it for me, and we're on a video chat. And I'm like, oh, sounds good, man. Like, well done. How long did it take you to record it? He's like, I didn't record it at all. I was like, what are you talking about? You didn't record it. He goes, it just cloned my voice, and I just did it this way. And I was like, what? So now that is available in an app in Apple or Android. So that's a nice little step going forward. Now, I briefly teased at the very beginning of this little news segment and podcast here that there's a war going on, and boy, Spotify is taking off the gloves here. Spotify launches Spotify for Authors, a new platform for audiobook authors and publishers. Our story began in 2008 when we revolutionized music for fans and artists alike, growing to become the world's leading audio platform with 650 million listeners around the globe. We didn't stop there. In 2019, we brought podcasts and music together in one intuitive platform. In 2022, we brought a la carte audiobooks to Spotify, and a year later opened a new chapter launching audiobooks in premium with over 300,000 titles and counting. Spotify's ever-expanding catalog is made possible by the invaluable contributions of authors and publishers. Let me go ahead and give you the TLDR at this point. Spotify acquired the company Findaway Voices, which is largely responsible for wide publishing of audiobooks. It's phenomenal, really, really good. There were some bumps in the road and such. They ran into some controversy in early 2024 when they tried to go for a rights grab, and they said, oh, wait, hang on a second. We walked that back. That's not what we meant. You're putting words in our mouth. They cleaned things up, and it's all been kosher ever since. Well, they have been aggressively expanding Spotify's reach throughout the world, and the CEO of Spotify said clearly, like, this is one of their priorities. They want to get audiobooks out in the market. And so with this new Spotify for authors, a lot of people are going to go, okay, where do I sign up, Dale? You can't yet. Not quite yet. There's so many perks involved in it, like you have your own author profile, you can be able to publish this, but the problem is they're only inviting publishers first. So if you happen to be a self-published author, you're not the top priority at this point. I hate to say it. It sucks, but you could still be able to get your audiobook over into Spotify if you go through Findaway Voices by Spotify or other places like Authors Republic or even Publish Drive. I think he has that option. But they are really starting to expand. You can see they're just digging their feet into the sand. They're not going anywhere. This means war between Spotify and Audible, because Audible has been the dominant audiobook player on the market. I'm glad to see that there's competition coming up here, and hopefully they start to pay attention to indie authors in some capacity. Now, going a little further forward, I didn't mention this, and I should have mentioned this probably about, a week or two ago. Amazon Music is now hosting audiobooks from Audible. So if you happen to have an Amazon Music Unlimited membership, which I happen to as well, you can now get those Audible audiobooks available to you and you can listen to them. So what does that mean as far as how much you're paid out? I don't know. You're going to need to reach out to Audible for a comment on that one. I'm sure they're pulling from a pooled subscription. So then you're getting kind of a fraction of a cent, I'm sure, by the amount that's streamed on the platform. But nonetheless, you could see that it's one of those cases like, I swear there must be someone's paying attention to Spotify and Amazon is being paid attention to by Spotify. They're really trying to step up their game. I would love to see Audible start to treat authors with a little bit more dignity and respect by giving them a better royalty. Your royalty's garbage. I'm just telling you right now, ACX, it is absolute hot trash, hot garbage. There's no way you could be able to justify the 25% royalty per sale of an audiobook that cost tens of thousands of dollars for some people. Garbage. So that's why sometimes I lean a little bit more in favor of Spotify, but Spotify, you ain't out of the doghouse just yet because of that little power play you did earlier in this year. But it's great to see that there's competition nonetheless in this little space here. All right, moving a little further forward here, we are going to look at StreetLib. Produce your book with StreetLib. From EPUB conversion to cover design, formatting, and more. Bring your project to life in print and digital with their expert services. So now StreetLib is offering some self-publishing services. So you happen to be distributing through them, they can be able to assist you as a special preview. Subscribe to our monthly newsletter and receive an exclusive 10% discount on all our book services in the next edition. So you want to take a look at StreetLib, go over to streetlib.com. And there is, of course, streetlib.com/book-services. So you can find out a little bit more about their services. StreetLib is a great self-publishing platform. They reach dozens of different avenues. They're an aggregate publisher similar to Draft2Digital and somewhat similar to Publish Drive. All right, moving a little further forward here, coming from the fine folks over at Get Covers, one of my preferred cover design companies, how to get book reviews on Amazon. 20 tips. These 20 tips are really good. They tell you, first of all, let me go ahead and give you the TLDR. You can go ahead and get this downloadable report when you go and visit this link inside the description as per usual. Write a killer book, of course. Use ARC reader services, including BookFunnel, StoryOrigin, BookSprout, BookSirens, NetGalley, and the library thing. I use NetGalley, and I use StoryOrigin, and I use BookSprout. I don't use all the other ones, though. BookSirens wouldn't have my nonfiction book. That's neither here nor there. Ask everywhere you can. Add a call to action in your audiobook. Very smart. Build an email list. Yes, 100%. They should have put that at the top. Add a reminder to your email signature. Yes, I need to do that as well. Try Pubbie. Might I stack onto that one as well? There's Pubbie. There is getbooksreviewed.com. There is getauthenticbookreviews.com. There is book-bounty.com. And there's also gemsy.io. That's a new one for nonfiction and low content books. So you happen to be in that space. So those are some of the other author sites. Just be very careful. Getauthenticbookreviews.com is free to the end of 2024. So take advantage of that. Offer free copies in Facebook groups. Check out Publisher Launchpad. Use BookBite for audiobooks and so much more. Rather than me bloviating and giving you all like the things that Get Covers tells you about, go over, read the article. It's actually very informative. There were some things that I was like, oh, wait, I did not know about this one. BookBite was probably one of them. All right. Moving a little further forward, MiblArt, my preferred cover design company, that's the sister company to Get Covers, has just launched the MiblArt Advent calendar for indie authors. Christmas time is nearly here. Treat yourself to our email Advent calendar to get stunning Christmas gifts from our partners and us. One day, one prize. Join the waitlist to get notified about the calendar launch and gather all presents we've prepared. There is a link down below. I will tell you that I tossed my name into the hat, so go get yourself subscribed. You're going to get a very deeply discounted coupon that you can use on my books there. And more about my books here in just a little bit here. Moving forward here, I'm going to go rapid fire on this one. Dibbly Create just announced a few new features that just rolled out. They have 2 research tools that are returning to the platform, including the in-depth book analysis and the search term batch analysis tool. You also have a new fact checker feature. So this is a fantastic way to check your facts all from within the Dibbly Create dashboard. And then now it's official. I am so excited to kind of share this because I had beta access to this a while ago. The new image generation tool available through Dibbly Create is actually really good. And if you've seen some pictures that I've posted inside my community tab posts over on YouTube, then chances are that's probably an image that I had generated by Dibbly Create's image generation tool. You get more information about Dibbly Create, and that is my preferred writer's tool. It is a word processing tool. How about that, Dale? With artificial intelligence integrated in it. You can use the artificial intelligence or you can just shut it off. Either way works just fine. Big shout out to a good friend and longtime guest here of this podcast channel. Mark Leslie Lefebvre had me on his Stark Reflections podcast to talk about networking for authors. This was a great chat. Love chatting with Mark. We talked all about networking and how it shouldn't be such an ugly term. It is a beautiful term, especially if you embrace it in all walks of your business. You're probably already doing networking and you don't realize it. I found that out through Shannon Houston. Big shout out to Shannon because she was like, I didn't really think that I was doing networking. I was just doing these things. But so you want more details, go listen to that podcast. It was a great, insightful talk. Speaking of insightful talks, I am very lucky and very fortunate to tomorrow, Tuesday, December the 10th at 2:15 p.m. I'll be interviewing the author website expert, Pauline Wiles. I've actually had the pleasure of talking to Pauline Wiles over in the Ally podcast. And I said, you know what? I got to bring you over onto my channel because we got to talk a little bit more about author website design and talk about the do's, the don'ts, and things that authors need to be aware of. Pauline is just a breath of fresh air, and I cannot wait to share this interview with you. That's going to be live again on December the 10th, Tuesday at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Daytime. If you happen to be listening to the audio podcast, it's today at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Daytime. And I want to give a big shout out to five individuals who are so super cool for the reviews that they did, video reviews of networking for authors. This includes Self-Pub with Andy. This includes Ben from Running to Write. This includes author DL Tillery, SD Houston, and Devin Gambrell Clark. All 5 of them put together just some incredible videos. Thank you so much. You guys want to learn a little bit more about how networking for authors is really one of my favorite publications? Yes, I've written dozens of books. Networking for authors is my absolute favorite. Go take a look at these videos. They'll be able to tell you a little bit more. And let me tell you right now, for a limited time, I'm feeling generous. This is all the way through Sunday of this next week. So we have less than a week to get your copy of the Self-Publishing with Dale series. There are 5 books in the series, including Self-Publishing for New Authors, Advanced Self-Publishing for Authors, Advertising for Books, Networking for Authors, and How to Write a Nonfiction Book in 24 Hours. I want to say that right now for a limited time, you can get book 1 for $2.99 as opposed to $7.99. And then you can get books 2 through 5 for $4.99 as opposed to $7.99. This will be the absolute last sale opportunity you have to take advantage. It's only on Amazon that you'll be able to get that price discount. And while we're talking about it, I want to give a big shout out to Flavia Kennedy for sharing my series and this big sale that is coming over through Authentic Book Reviews. Go to getauthenticbookreviews.com to get more details about how she shared this and how you can be able to get additional points for your Authentic Book Reviews account. Go on to getauthenticbookreviews.com, get yourself set up all the way through 2024. We got a few more weeks left inside the year. You can be able to use their service 100% free, and you might get an early bird special. So head on over to there. And I want to, of course, give one last shout out to the fine folks over at Book Award Pro. Get reviews and awards for your books. Over 2.4 million books are published every day. Authors need a smart strategy to stand out. Book Award Pro is how you win awards and get reviews for your book. DaleLinks.com/Book Award Pro. And for those of you paying attention, you get 25% off your first month of Book Award Pro if you go to DaleLinks.com/Book Award Deal. That's good till January 31st of 2025. What did you think about some of the news? Is there anything that I might have missed? If I did, please let me know over at the Discord community. There's a lot of people that are super cool there. Why aren't you over there? If you are there, why aren't you bringing more people? I shouldn't put that pressure on you, but bring some other people. Go to DaleLinks.com/Discord. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I will catch you next week. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit DaleLinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.